What's going on, everybody? It's your boy JP, back again with another video. And as promised, today I got the RedMagic 6S Pro. And man, I have been loving my time with this phone. I really have. This is the Cyborg model. It's not the transparent one, it's the Cyborg with, let you look at that right quick there. 12 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of internal storage. And it has the Snapdragon 888 Plus with the Adreno 660. And that's right, you heard me. Snapdragon 888 Plus. Not the 888, not the 870, the 888 Plus. And I have had a blast with this phone. It has been a joy to use, and really, I'm gonna tell y'all, it's even if you have the previous RedMagic 6, it may be worth your upgrade still. Your previous RedMagic S phones, I think they've been doing them since the 3. They have the RedMagic 3, then the 3S, and then the 5G, the 5S, and then the 6 Pro, which came out together. And then here you have the 6S Pro. There's no regular 6S. And I'm gonna get to that in a minute here too. But last year with the 5S probably had the least amount of upgrades because it didn't even feature the Snapdragon 865 Plus. It just added more tech behind the active cooling system, but then the year before that with the 3S, it just got the Snapdragon 855 Plus, whereas the 3 had the 855. And of course, it had, they always do other little simple upgrades as well besides the processor. But here with the RedMagic 6S Pro, they did in fact do more than just upgrade the Snapdragon 888 to the 888 Plus. You get, the 6 and 6 Pro had ICE 6.0. This has ICE 7.0 for the multi-active cooling system. They've added more higher grade material to make cooling, to help the phone cool off better. The fans are quicker, or fan. I don't know why I say fans, but the fan is quicker. That's a part of the ICE 7.0 as opposed to 6.0 that the standard 6 and 6 Pro with the regular 888 Snapdragon have. This also has a much higher touch refresh rate. The screen refresh rate is still that amazing 165 hertz on the Super AMOLED screen. I'm gonna get to the screen in a minute too. There's still an upgrade to that as well. But the touch response, a lot of people thought that the 6 and 6 Pro's touch response was amazing. This phone has nearly doubled it. This phone has I think 750 millisecond touch sampling rate, and that's multi-touch. That's multi-touch. I'm sorry, I keep stuttering, y'all. I don't know why. I'm just trying to get my words straight. So excuse me there. But it has 720 or 750. I can't remember the exact number, but it's 700 something. Millisecond touch sampling rate. And when you go into the RedMagic mode, the gaming mode, they actually have an option for you to set that now. And they did before, but it was always kind of hidden. You just kind of assumed it was already enabled. Whereas on here, you go into the RedMagic, the game space, if you will. And this is running RedMagic 4.5, by the way. RedMagic OS 4.5 on top of Android 11. Again, that's another upgrade because the RedMagic 6 had RedMagic OS 4.0. And it was kind of glitchy. I noticed a few things wrong with it that I didn't notice on previous models, like the 5S, which was, because I've had all of these since the RedMagic 3. I had the 3, the 3S, the 5G, the 5S. I had the 6, not the 6 Pro, and then right here, which was the same thing. The 6 Pro just had more storage and more RAM, and then right here I had the 6S Pro. And it was weird. It was weird, and I know I kind of jumped around there, but I noticed quite a few like odd things about the RedMagic 6 and the operating system, and it just you know, not just with the language, but other like just like other little glitches. You know, it didn't stop me from being able to use that phone, you know, daily. It was a great phone, but it wasn't my favorite RedMagic. You know, it's you know, aside from being, you know, the most powerful at its time, you know, back, you know, 5 months ago with the Snapdragon 888, and it was the highest clocked one besides the Black Shark 4 with the solid state drive built in, but it was just really odd. You know, within 2 or 3 weeks, I was just like I just didn't want to use it anymore. Just you know, I don't really know, and I'm sure that there's going to be people in the comments that have or had that phone and may chime in, and you know, because I've read other people, you know, saying the same things. I've watched other reviews stating it. The RedMagic 6S Pro here has gotten way better reviews than the 6 and 6 Pro from a few months back. It's almost like they optimized it. And I know that's a big word to throw around, but it's like Nubia really like paid attention, and they really truly optimized the OS this time around. Because this phone just feels different. It just feels more polished. Again, there is an option for the touch sampling rate. You know, in the RedMagic, the game space 4.5. It's more laid out in there. You also have what's called infinity mode now that is in there. I'll try to, let me see if I can boot that up here right quick, and I'll kind of show you here what I mean here. Let's see here. Let's see if I can turn it this way right here. That's the way I don't know what I'm doing here, y'all. Excuse me. But let's see. It may have been by a specific game, but I want to see here. Let's see. Bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. I didn't even. Let's see. All right. Like, let me go here, for example. And no. That's not what I want to do either. But Okay. All right. See, I'm trying to do this on the phone, so it makes it hard here. So y'all have to excuse me here, because I really forgot where it was, and it's actually very easy to find. There it is. I think it's going to be in here. See how you have infinity mode right here? So you have balance, rise, beyond, and infinity. And then let's see. Where was the touch sampling rate? I mean, it's don't get me lying, y'all, because I mean, it was actually very easy to find. Yeah, see, here we go. Adjust operations here. See, touch sampling rate, and you can okay, 720. I said 750. I'm sorry, y'all. 720 hertz high sampling rate there, and it just kind of goes over the consumption of it and stuff like that. But yeah, you can go to that, and it's just really easy to find here. I just made it difficult, but I promise you it's a lot easier. That's because I'm trying to record this. Have y'all ever watched a lot of Flossy Carter's videos where he's trying to show y'all the face unlock, and he's telling you that it's like the quickest ever, but when he's trying to do it on camera, it barely works? That's kind of what's going on here. Of course, this is more, that's user error too, because he has something in between him and the phone. But here, it's more my error because I just, for the sake of keeping the video as short as possible, I'm trying to rush to find it, and I just can't find it, and it's right there. But yeah, it's within each game setting basically, and it's just that's not what I meant to do. See, I just keep messing up, but y'all get the idea here. Let me just turn this off for now here. Let's see here. So, it does unfortunately have the same the lens that they've been using now since I think the RedMagic 3 or 3S, which is a 64 megapixel sensor. It is a Sony sensor though. It was the flagship sensor from a couple years ago. It was flagship when the 3 or 3S had it, but of course, Nubia's software has always been its downfall. Because that lens performs so much better on any other hardware besides the RedMagic phones. I mean, the only phone I've ever used with that sensor that was even worse was I think that UmiDigi S3 Pro. That had also came out back the same year that the RedMagic 3 and 3S had came out. It was in between the two, actually. It was that summer, and that was back when everybody was using that sensor. It was like the sensor to have. But the RedMagic and the third gen RedMagic and the UmiDigi S3 Pro didn't do a good job because of their software. But even speaking about optimization, there's other reviews that have already stated this, and I'm going to tell you the same, even though I'm not the camera tech guy. The camera software has been, it's been reworked, if I can say that. It's been better organized. It does seem to take better pictures, better videos. Again, I may not be the one to really, I'm not the be all know all when it comes to that. Obviously, as y'all know, that's kind of my weakness. But it does take really good shots. I think too, it does have an ultra wide lens as well, and the other one is a macro, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it's a telephoto. I'm pretty sure it's a macro, but I could be wrong about that. But I mean, the ultra, the wide lens works really well. I have noticed, and that actually may be new hardware, or it was at least new with the 6 and 6 Pro from 5 months ago. Because I don't think they upgraded anything with the camera specifically on this model, besides the software. Because it does seem like the software itself has been upgraded. The software, the OS as a whole on this phone, it just seems like it's just been upgraded. It just seems so much better, more optimized, if I can say that again. It just, it still has the same quirks that a lot of people don't like about RedMagic OS, where like you can't apply your own third-party launcher. They kind of boot you out of it. But that's always been a thing with RedMagic OS. That's not a glitch. That's just how Nubia has a set. So that's more or less their thing than it is a glitch. And I know a lot of people hate that. I understand. I'm not a launcher. I'm not a third-party launcher user myself, but I used to be. But I definitely get it. But this phone has a 66 watt charging, not 65, but 66 watt. In the box, though, you get the 30. But it is Type-C. The brick itself is Type-C, and the cable is Type-C to Type-C. So no USB Type-A or anything like that. See? But you do get the case here. Of course, it has that gigantic hole for the cooling on the back. And there's something else here that you can't really tell because I wouldn't say like a dummy because I would have peeled it off anyways. But you notice that little thing right there? I peeled off that says touch. That actually, when you take the phone out of the box, that goes down here because this is another touch area like the triggers are. Like the triggers up here. They've added a third trigger, and it's right here in between the RedMagic logo and where it says RedMagic, and it's little, you slide it here, and it has a sticker there that'll say touch when you're taking it out of the box to kind of let you know that that's what that is. And of course you can read about it on their website as well. And speaking about the triggers, they have also upgraded this the sampling rate for the triggers too. They are now 450 up from 400. So again, the touch sampling rate's been upgraded to the multi-touch to 720. The single touch has also been upgraded, but the multi-touch, the number is 720. The triggers have been upgraded from 400 to 450. And for those that don't realize it, the touch sampling rate for multi-finger on the touch screen, that's a huge jump because just 5 months ago, whatever number the RedMagic 6 had was the highest for its time, and then a couple phones have caught up to that, maybe have gone a little bit higher. But this is just kind of skyrocketed even further. I mean, even higher up than it already was to 720. I mean, that's just astronomical. Just when you didn't think they could really enhance or upgrade any more of the touch sampling rate, I mean, they did. I mean, they may not have done it on the display, but they did it with the touch of your finger, the multi-touch, and that's awesome. As far as the panel itself, they do obviously a fingerprint sensor there. And that's supposed to be new from what I read as well, too. It's supposed to be the in-display fingerprint sensor on this is supposed to be an upgraded one as well. I did read that somewhere. It works fluently, super fast. Of course, that, again, wasn't a great example there because I'm trying to multitask here. Definitely one of the fastest, if not the fastest. The screen itself has actually gone through an upgrade, too. When I used the RedMagic 6, I was using it at the same time as I was using a lot of Xiaomi's devices that were using the new E4 AMOLED panels from Samsung. Obviously, the same panels that the Galaxy S21 series has. I think, anyways. Could be wrong about that, but the E4 AMOLED was definitely top of the line for Samsung's tech, and I say maybe, what I just said about their S21 line because, Samsung doesn't always use the highest tech for their own phones. Sometimes they license it out to other companies and, because, if they're willing to pay, then they'll let them, do it, or get it, however you want to say it. But pretty sure the S21s were E4, though. I think they kind of went without saying there. But when I used the RedMagic 6, I noticed that the screen not only didn't get as bright, but it also wasn't as crisp as those E4 AMOLEDs were on the Xiaomi devices I was using at the time. I was using numerous ones. Was it better than what the RedMagic 5S had last year this time? It was probably about the same, and that's not a bad thing. It was still an AMOLED. It was still a 165 Hz AMOLED. It was the first 165 Hz AMOLED screen, the first 165 Hz screen altogether, even if it was LCD. It was still, it was definitely faster than the Xiaomi devices, even the 120 Hz ones that I had, was using at the time. But it just wasn't as crisp. The angles weren't as great. The vibrancy wasn't as great. The brightness, which, to my understanding, the brightness doesn't always have anything to do with the screen itself. I mean, it does obviously, but a lot of times the max system brightness is kind of set at a system level where you can't really, as a user, you're not really allowed to set it at its maximum unless you actually root the phone and change the setting internally, from my understanding. And I could be wrong about that, so y'all correct me in the comments there. But nonetheless, it was dim and it wasn't great in sunlight, and a lot of people complained about that. This phone, the 6S Pro, completely opposite. It gets bright. It is great. It's definitely an E4. I can tell by the vibrancy of it. I've used enough E4s this year to know, because I've still used plenty of other E3 AMOLED panels too. Again, your Xiaomi MediaTek powered AMOLED phones were still using E3 technology up until the last phone that I had just reviewed, my last video, which was the Xiaomi 11T. That was the first MediaTek powered phone from Xiaomi that I know of that actually had an E4 AMOLED, like all of the Qualcomm equipped phones have had for the most part. Of course, there's an exception with that too, because as I said in that video, the Pogo X3 Pro, which had a Snapdragon 860, used an E3, and then of course you had the Pogo GT, the F3 GT, which was the same as the Redmi K40 Gaming Edition with the Dimensity 1200, and that used the E3. But fast forward, the 11T, which also used a newer 1200, the 1200 Ultra, it has an E4 panel, as I said in my video. But here, this is definitely an E4. There's no notch or a punch hole, because they still opt for the front-facing camera right there on the border. This has the same design as the 6, and if y'all watch my video to the RedMagic 6, you'll know that I did rave about the design. They thinned out the bezels while still keeping the borders there for your palm, so you're not so you're not ghost touching all the time. That's in place, because if it's a gaming phone, you kind of need that area to rest your palms. Now, of course, since then, Nubia did release the RedMagic 6R. And speaking about Xiaomi's little gaming phones like the K40 Gaming Edition and Pogo F3 GT, they're supposed to be gaming phones, but they have the all display design with the punch hole themselves. So did the Black Shark 4, the 4 Pro, the upcoming 4S. It's again, as I've said many times, design, style is subjective. I like phones like the RedMagic 6R because I kind of like the incognito gaming look. And where it looks like a regular phone still, but it has the gamerish stuff about it where it's also a gaming phone. But at the end of the day, I still like these more because these have so much more to them, because the 6R didn't have the built-in fan, for example, etc., because it was made to be, really thin. And of course that's down to $450 now since this phone came out, and that's a really good price. But I did experience some of the same OS hiccups with the 6R as I did out of the RedMagic 6. But again, the 6S Pro, non-existent. It's not here. I'm sure there's little language bumps somewhere that I haven't caught yet. RedMagic phones have always had that since the 3, the first one that I used, and I'm sure that the original RedMagic and the RedMagic Mars did as well. And it's really, that always struck me odd because ZTE's Axon phones didn't suffer from that. It was like, it was just, you can definitely tell that that even though Nubia is owned by ZTE, these phones are definitely made, they're not all, made in the same room, if I can say that. They might be made next door to each other, but definitely not made in the same room, if that makes sense. But that's not to say that the quality isn't here, because the quality with these phones have always been just as good as the Axons. You do get this is, I think it's Gorilla Glass. It's probably Gorilla Glass 5, but it would be really nice if it was Victus. But I want to say it's Gorilla Glass 5, but it is front and back. And you do the only RGB light that you get now, just like with the 6 and 6 Pro, is the emblem right here, and then you get some lighting. Let's see, yeah, that is it. Yeah, it's just right there, if I'm not mistaken. There, the emblem there. They don't have it all around the phone like they used to, but again, this is a touch area, which it wasn't on the 6 and 6 Pro, which is really nice. Now the price. Y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all, the price on this phone is right. They won't. It's $600. Okay. A lot of people are saying that Nubia discontinued. Nubia did the right thing. There's no denying that. No one said otherwise. They discontinued the 6 and 6 Pro, and they introduced the 6S Pro, to take the And a lot of people mistakenly state that it takes the price slot that belonged to the regular 6 Pro. And keep in mind, the 6 was $600, the 6 Pro was $700. If that were the case, then this phone would be $700, $699 if it took the 6 Pro's price slot. But this actually right here, actually, even though it is a Pro, it's a 6S Pro, it actually takes the place of the regular RedMagic 6's price slot at $599. And again, you're getting the Snapdragon 888 Plus here. I mean, you can't beat that. Now, of course, you're still not wrong saying that it took, the place of the time slot for the 6 Pro, because the main thing that made the 6 Pro a Pro over the 6 was that it had 16 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of internal storage, I think, whereas the 6 was 12 and 128. This right here is labeled as a 6S Pro, but this is the 12 128 configuration. So if we're just going by that, then this is a 6S without a non-Pro 6S. If you go by that, technically they still did a non-Pro 6S and then a 6S Pro, and the Pro wouldn't be this if that's the case, because the Pro would be the 16256 model, and that's the one that's available in the transparent color. That is just super nice. But that one also isn't just $700. It's actually $720. But I think it's worth it, because the extra $20 is what's getting you that clear, that transparent rear design. I think that's so futuristic. Because that one does add another RGB light with the fan. You can see through it. You can see through the back. You can see the fan, and when it spins, it has an RGB light, which is really cool. So I mean, 16 gigs, 256 gigs of internal storage, the transparent design, 855 plus. I mean, that's with 16 gigs of RAM again, if I didn't already say that, for $720. That's not, I think that was great. This phone right here is only $600, $599. You still get the 888 plus. You get a whopping 12 gigs of RAM, which still ain't nothing to laugh about. This phone is slated to get the RAM boost function that everyone's adding to their phones, ZTE included. The Axon 20 or Axon 30 rather, I'm sorry, had an 8 gig RAM boost, which is the highest I've seen yet, and that essentially brought the 12 gig Axon 30 with the Snapdragon 870 up to 20 whopping gigs. They bring that to this 12 gigs plus 8. That's 20 right there. I mean, that would just be phenomenal. Because I've actually been loving the RAM boost feature on my other phones that have it. I think it's awesome. But again, though, man, there's a lot to say about this phone. $599. I hate to take one out of Flossie Carter's book. I know I do it all the time, but as he always says about Bob Barker, I'm sorry. Bob Barker. Bob Baker was one of my car salesmen. But Bob Barker, from The Price is Right, the price is definitely right on this phone. I mean, if you can get away from the fact that it's not a 6R, so it doesn't look like an everyday phone, if you can get away from that, you are not this. And if you can also kind of get away from the camera, if camera's your thing, then you may not want this. Even though to me it takes great shots, takes great videos. Watch Flossie's video. I mean, even he states it's pretty decent, honestly. They've definitely upped their game. And as he even said, and I thought the same exact thing before I even heard him say it. They definitely listened to the consumer this time. They really did. But if you can get away from the design, the not everyday-ish design that this has, you really are getting pound for pound the best specs for price. I mean, 888 plus, which is the basically the Cortex X1 processor is clocked at 3 gigs. So man, and this thing is just blazing. You got new game mode. You got new modes inside the game space, the Infinity now. I mean, it just jacks everything up. I mean, it's just I've had a blast with this phone. I really have. Just kind of giving you another little tour of everything here. The box is very carbon fiber-ish. I didn't get to that. I meant to, but not. I think I covered everything. This video here is almost 30 minutes here, but kind of give you a runabout here with everything here. It's just like really any of the other RedMagics. It's just seems more polished, more optimized, as I've said. i7.0 instead of 6.0. 720 hertz touch sampling rate. You still got the great 165 hertz refresh panel, but it is a brighter, more clear, more sharper AMOLED this time around. I swear it's E4. I'm pretty sure. Better camera software. I'm not so sure about the hardware again, but that ultra wide does work really good. Again, 66 watt charging. I mean, this thing has just been it's been great. The triggers have been upgraded. With the higher touch sampling rate. You have the X1 on the back. man, there's just not enough good things to say about this phone. I really like it. I've really enjoyed it. A lot of the reviews would tell you that. A lot of the same reviews that didn't like the 6 or 6 Pro as much, they really like the 6S Pro. I think I've only seen one that, said something negative, and it just kind of goes, and that one just kind of goes back to the styling. It's not a phone that everyone's going to want to use every day, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I get it though, but again, style and design is very subjective. But anyways, y'all, this phone is, I mean, this thing is definitely a go. I mean, I would definitely give it 4.5 stars out of 5. 9.5 out of 10. A quadruple major go, or however you want to say it. I mean, I just, it's been great. Anyways, y'all, I will see y'all in the next video. That will probably be the TicWatch Pro 3 Ultra. I got that coming in today. That may be my next video if I had to guess. Yeah, I will see y'all in the next one. Peace out.